Hello there, friends. Welcome to Three Card Thursday from Cards of Light, Bright Blessings of the Tarot, for the first day of autumn 2022, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, September 22nd. And let's give these cards a quick shuffle here before our three-card energy reading. And we will, I think this time it will be something to stop doing, something to keep doing, and something to start doing is what we're looking for here in the cards. Let's take just a moment to breathe, get our minds quiet a little bit. And we'll make the cut. And see what we got. Something to stop doing. We have the Queen of Wands. Something to start doing. We have the Nine of Swords. Or, I'm sorry, something to keep doing, Nine of Swords. And something to start doing, the Prince of Cups. All right. Queen of Wands. This is so two court cards, one pip card, all from different suits here. Queen of Wands is a character that is very charming and charismatic and has lots of energy, very attractive, but always wants to be the center of attention and always wants to get their way. And so I would say something to stop doing there. We don't have to give up being, charismatic and attractive, but let's ease up a little on always wanting to be the center of attention, if that is a tendency that we have, or we find ourselves craving the attention of others and doing our best to get it. And also always having to get our way. This is a hard one. We really think that, we ought to have the things that we want to have, and we ought to be able to avoid the things that we don't want to have. And it makes us unhappy when we have to deal with things that we don't want to, or we don't get the things that we do want. These are all, just preferences and attachments that we experience here in the material world, but they aren't the real stuff. They aren't the things that are truly important. They are just preferences. And so we can kind of ease up a little bit over the coming weekend and the week to come on having to have our way. That would be good, particularly when it brings us into conflict with other people. And then also having to be the center of attention. It's amazing the growth that we can find and the peace of mind that we can find when we're just sort of a fly on the wall watching things unfold, letting other people kind of gravitate to the center for a while, especially if we are this sort of personality that is, kind of outgoing and filled with charm and all of that kind of stuff. It is amazing how much the habit of just taking some breaths, being quiet, and watching things unfold, the things that we can learn and the ways that we can grow. Pretty amazing. So something to stop doing, maybe at least something to consider there. Okay, something to keep doing, the Nine of Swords. And this is a bit of a puzzlement because this is not it's hard to put kind of a positive spin on this card. We've got Mars in Gemini here, so very active, almost aggressive, at least very assertive energy, but kind of being of two minds. What are we going to do here? And that's reflected here in the card too. These 9 swords dripping with poison. Swords being the suit of the mind, and 9s being the cards of attainment. The cards, they're really the card that is just before the completion of a cycle with a particular element. So this is the element of the air, the cards of the mind. We start at the aces, which are sort of the first idea of something. We move on to cards where things become kind of increasingly dense and find their expression, but then sort of play themselves out. So we're getting near the end of that cycle with the 9. This is the card in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck that shows the person who is sitting up in bed with their head in their hands, just overwrought. It looks as if they have awakened from a nightmare, or awakened to a nightmare, perhaps, but are just so obsessed, so focused on fears and worries and anxiety that they can't really see anything else. But this card can also be the card of patiently enduring our trials and tribulations in life. And so when we put it in the context of something to keep doing, if we are facing troubles, and Crowley styles this card cruelty, if we're being subjected to either the cruelty of others or the cruelty of life, unhappy times, things that are challenging and difficult to deal with and sorrowful and all of that, patiently enduring, hanging on to hope for a better day to come, and getting through it. This energy passes. I mean, everything in what we experience as material reality changes. Everything, all the time. And it is all, at the very base of it, energy. The stuff that we think is so real. Whether that's actual objects, or certainly when we get into the realm of our thoughts and our emotions and that sort of thing. It's really energy. It's not, at least often, something that is really real. The only thing that is real is change and the love in our hearts, and that silent witness within us that watches all this energy blow by. So a call for patience and endurance here with this 9 of Swords. That's the way I would read that one. A difficult card to read in this position, in this spread. Okay, then we've got the Prince of Cups over here in the something to start doing. And this card has also got kind of a shadow over it. I think of the Prince of Cups as being diplomatic, almost to the point of being glib. Sort of not a character that I would maybe trust if it really came down to it. Someone that you could make an alliance with, someone that you could work with, but it's always based on their ambitions and what they want. Very crafty, very deliberate, but very diplomatic, and charming. So, and we've got air of water here in terms of the elements of this card. This is like a storm blowing in unexpectedly, just powerful energy that comes in and sweeps over everything. And what happened here? That's the kind of sense that we get sometimes when these storms come. And when this character is around, that's sort of the experience that other people have of this character. It's like, what just happened? So again, a difficult one to read in terms of what we can start doing, but I think there are two things that we can learn and take as examples from this card. And one is, first of all, this character is intensely secretive. They're not someone who's going to, wear their heart on their sleeve. Not someone who is going to share a lot of information unless it is a calculated thing and it's in their best interest to And that sounds, like cynical and all of that, but it can also be sometimes a good thing to not sort of expose everything that's going on in terms of your plans, in terms of your thoughts, in terms of your emotions. So especially if we've got like a storm going on in the interior here, and we've got, kind of some mental obsessions going on, and maybe a tendency toward, wanting our way and toward, trying to be the center of attention. Maybe this is another call to sort of, keep that under wraps for a little bit. Not talking about masking in the sense of doing things that are untrue to yourself or inauthentic, but just not necessary at this point to sort of lay everything all out there in public for everybody to see. So maybe a call for a little discretion would be a better word than secrecy, possibly. And then in addition to that, the other aspect of this card that is really positive is that they are very diplomatic. They're able to forge alliances with people that might seem unlikely sometimes to get some goals, whether they be lofty or not, but sometimes lofty goals accomplished, working together with folks that might seem unlikely partners, putting together alliances of groups of people that one would think didn't have a lot of common interests, but able to pull them together for a goal that they all share. And so that's another thing that we can start doing is try to, not in a manipulative, cynical way, but in an artful way, use a little bit of diplomacy. Maybe don't lay everything out there that we're thinking and feeling. Watch, think, be deliberate, and see what happens. See if you can get some collaboration going. I'm getting the sense that this really is someone's personal struggle at this point. That try as they might, someone that is very talented, very, got a lot of wherewithal and is used to getting their way, and things aren't going that way right now. And so the key, and so we're all in this, mental turmoil and anguish and anxiety, trying to figure out, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? The key to the whole thing is to not just react from habit and from our attachments, the things that we, our preferences, the things that we want, the things that we're hanging on to for dear life. Relax a little bit, let that stuff up, give yourself some time to breathe, become the observer, even of yourself. And then over here, see if you can use talents that might have been used in the past to take shortcuts, maybe even to deceive other people. See if you can use some of those same skills, bring them to bear on doing things for the common good and pulling together, a solution that will make everyone better off and happier in the long run. I'm getting a very strong sense now that this is someone who is used to just forcing the issue, and most of the time getting their way, and not really focusing on creating relationships. And so it's time to maybe do that. Endure patiently and maybe give up a little of what we want on first glance for longer term goals and things that will be good. That's the way I'm seeing these anyway. I would love to hear what you think, and if these are hitting you hard, they probably need to be at this point. I think I've been this guy from some time or another along the way, maybe several times in my life. So if this is resonating with you, take it to heart or don't. Do whatever you want. But I'd love to hear from you if you'd like to discuss or if you're watching this and you go, oh, it describes what's going on in my life to a T. I really love to hear that and hear more about the situation. If you are a reader and you have a completely different take on these or something to add, I'd love to hear that too. You can leave comments here with the video or pop on out to the weblog, brightblessingstarot.com, and get in touch with me there. I think that'll do it for 3-Card Thursday this week. A challenging card spread. Again, look at these. Look at the beauty in these cards, though. Even though these are, like this is a particularly scary, kind of icky card here, and very powerful energies in both of these. But look at the beauty of Frida Harris watercolors here. I hope that they're showing up well in the video, but boy, this Thoth deck is just so gorgeous and so powerful. I plan to be back on Sunday for our Sunday morning spread. In the meantime, as always, I wish you peace. Take care of yourself.